Got people already. Okay. There we go. There we go. Every time it doesn't matter. Oh, shoot.
What, did you turn it off?
Yeah. There, I'm back on. Okay. Every time it doesn't matter. Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay. Well, we got all kinds of people on here already ahead of us, which is interesting. So who's here? We have got Debs is here. Hi, Debs. I was just watching your latest YouTube videos. They're getting better with time. Not that they were bad before, but I mean, like, you can see your progression in them. So you're getting a little bit more confident, I would say, in you doing YouTube, and that happens. Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda. Julie's here. Mm-hmm. Who else is here? Laura's here. Hi, Laura. Luch is here. Hi, Luch. Did I miss anybody so far? I think I got everybody. So if anybody doesn't know, just Debs Walls, Shady Lady Cards and Crafts. She is an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, I believe, right, Debs? And she's got her own channel now. I think I did review it. I did review it a couple of weeks ago. And Deb's been madly adding content in the last little while. So do go and check it out. You look like you're sitting lower than me.
Mm-hmm.
Are you got yourself on your stool? Mm-hmm. Can I push in your stool? Yeah, okay. We are eating, until you ask, ghetto nachos. Yep. We're pretty ghetto.
I was busy, so I didn't have any time to put anything together.
Yeah, we'll talk about what Walter was busy at in a minute. I'll already give you a clue. We are going to show you our balls. Don't get that excited. Ooh, camera moved when I did that. Audrey's here. Hi, Audrey.
Kind of crooked.
What? You're always about crooked. What do you mean crooked?
Okay. Pull it up a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Jeez.
Would you like makeup as well?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably, because the shine off your head's dazzling. And we're drinking, of course, our usual champagne. Actually, this one was on sale this week. What is it? It's a Prosecco. Prosecco? Prosecco.
So it's all $1 off or whatever.
Yeah, cheap Prosecco, $1 off.
Instead of $15.50, it's $14.50.
Yeah. Canadian. Okay, so lots of people here right now, so we can get into things. So let's talk about our balls, shall we?
Yeah.
Go get your ball.
My ball currently is not as big as yours.
Yeah, I can do with that what you will. Okay, this is my ball. Where's your ball? Oh, Greta's here. Hi, Greta. Well, bring it over here. I'm not hanging onto your ball. Like as if I've never done that before. Okay, so here's our ball. Here's a smaller ball because we are doing the rugs. Walter's been working on his this afternoon. I've been making half square triangles all afternoon for another project. You're having one heck of a trouble there. So you can see they're coming along nicely, but I will tell you this.
That's why my ball's smaller, because I've got more done.
They are a bit frustrating to do because if you're not careful, you can turn them into a bowl as opposed to a rug.
Even mine's getting a little bit wavy at the sides. So.
And yesterday when we were taking the class, the first week we worked on this, making the stuff which is basically 2.5 inch. Were you going to show them the components?
Yeah, okay. So what happens is you get a roll of fabric.
Let's put my ball over here.
Yeah, I'll put my stuff over here. You get a roll of fabric, which has about 40 2.5 inch strips. This is one that I sort of took apart and put back together.
They call it a jelly roll, or you can get them in just flat packs of strips.
Right. And then you get batting, which also comes pre-cut. You can buy it, well, you can do it, cut it yourself, or you can get it pre-cut. We get it pre-cut in another roll like this.
Put it so people can see it. Jeez.
What?
You're really technically...
Like this, right? And then you have to sew, first of all, you have to sew all of these strips end to end. Right? End to end. Then you have to go and fill it with each strip of batting and sew it all together as well into a giant tube. Right? Which is sort of this part. This
Yeah.
giant tube. And then you take all of them and zigzag them together to form the mat.
Hi, Brenda.
So you go through a ton of thread,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of sewing.
It's a lot of sewing around and around and around, and it tends to be a little bit on the tedious side. Although people who have done them once, there's many people in our class that we've taught or have told us other people are making all kinds of them, and some of them are making them into table runners, placemats, or even a tabletop cover, because depending on how you start out the coil, these are longer, so they were going to make sort of an oblong or an oval, but if you make them a little shorter, you can get more of a circle. Personally, I think this is the only one I'm ever going to make, but he's talking about possibly making...
I was thinking making a couple of smaller ones for the middle of the table.
Yeah.
Round ones.
I suppose the next time you make it may get a little easier anyways, because it was our first time.
Yeah.
Well, it's still our first time. But there was a couple of ladies who had different sewing machines, but they could not... You're really having a problem today.
Yeah.
I think you've been sewing too long.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I was beginning to get cross-eyed.
Well, I've been sewing since 8 o'clock this morning, so I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyways, two of these ladies were having a big problem with it because all the thread from their bobbin was bunching up underneath. And they tried, the instructor and some of the other ladies in the store tried to help them out, and they tried everything. I even said to the one lady that was having the problem, I said, when was the last time you cleaned your machine? And I got kind of a blank look. Like, you got to keep your machine clean underneath, because especially when you're quilting and you have batting, the fuzz from that just fills up your bobbin case. And if you don't clean that out, it starts to get hard, and it can really affect your sewing machine. It can damage it. The rule is clean your sewing machine after every project, and I do that faithfully. So she opened up her platform, what do you call that? The plate, the needle plate, and oh my God, she had killer fuzzballs under there. So she cleaned that all out, but it still didn't make any difference. And they spent 2 hours in the class trying to figure it out. We never did figure out what the problem was that they were having. So, and it was weird because it was happening on 2 machines that were similar but different, and they were both using different thread, the whole bit. So we don't know what the problem was. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll have figured it out. Oh, we're doing a little business here. Julie wants Deb to send her a catalog for Stampin' Up. So there you go, Deb. You make a little business here on the side. It's okay by us. Carol's here. Hi, Carol. Anyways, so we're working on that, and this afternoon, or all day today, though I wasn't working on my rug, because I'm working on the dynamic quilt that has like, well, actually it has 320 and 160, 480 2-inch half square triangles in the thing. And I mentioned it
in each block.
No, in the entire quilt.
Oh.
But each block has 16 half square triangles in it. Then you got to make 20 of one block, 20 blocks, and 12 of the other one, and the whole bit. But I found a better way for making them. I ordered a program, and I think I mentioned this on either one of our lives or in my vlog, from a place in Alaska. Excuse me. And basically it's paper piecing. It prints out paper sheets that have markings on it, and all you have to do is pin these to your fabric, sew around the lines, and then cut along the lines, and bang, you've got half square triangles. I mean, it still takes some time, but they're accurate, and that's the important part of the whole thing. So that's what I was doing all day today, and I'm still not quite finished, but That quilt's going to take me some time, but I think it's going to be a very nice quilt when it's done. And yeah, we're almost caught up. Let's see, you've got how many? Oh, go get your runner.
Oh, I'm not done it yet.
Yeah, we'll show them what you've got done so far because Walter's been taking a basic quilting class. I think we mentioned that last week or maybe the week before. Last week we did art attack, so I don't remember what we talked about because we were concentrating on the art. But he's been taking a basic quilting class and there are projects to make this table runner, and his is coming out quite nice. I purposely try to look at it when he comes home from his class looking for mistakes, and damn it, I can't find any. It's driving me mental. And here it is. He has started to quilt it. And the white stuff is the batting. There's his wild back on it. So eventually that'll disappear because he'll put a binding on it, but you haven't finished quilting it yet, right?
No.
No. What kind of quilting are you doing?
We're just doing stitch in the ditch and then these crosses at the front. That's it.
Oh, okay. So she's going real basic.
Basic,
but
yeah.
It looks pretty good. I think it'll look good on our kitchen table when he gets it done. Hi, Jody. Hi, Christine. Hi, Precy. Anybody else I've missed? I don't think I've missed anybody else. So anyways, that's what we've been up to in the sewing classes. And in about 2 weeks' time, we're going off to a sewing retreat when we get closer to that date. Now, that might affect a Stephen and Walter live because that retreat's basically over after lunch on the Sunday. And
We should be able to get
maybe
home.
home in time. Yeah, it's only an hour and a half away if it's that. So yeah, we'll probably be. I have lots of things to talk about. Carol says, nice corners, Walter. Luch says, I took the same course. Well, Walter, that's amazing. And, Debs says, how's your mom? Funny you should ask. Well, we had an interesting week with my mother. I guess I'm finished talking about sewing. Anything else you want to talk about in sewing? No? Okay. So, my mother, I called her on, was it Monday, last Monday, this past Monday. And said, and you usually start off with, so anything new? I know there never is, but it's a conversation opener. And she goes, well, I've been in bed. And I could hear it in her voice. Because when she says it, it's not like, I've been in bed. It's like, well, I've been in bed. And I go, oh, crap, what's wrong? And so I said, why, you're not feeling well? Well, I don't know. Yeah, I always love it when she starts with that, too. Well, I don't know. Well, would you tell me who the hell would know, Mother? Anyways, I said, well, what? You're not feeling well. Well, no, not 100%. Well, what? What's the matter? Well, I don't know. Well, do you have a headache? Well, no. Does your stomach hurt? No. Are you throwing up? No. Well, what's the matter? Well, I don't know. I just feel sort of lethargic. Well, we all feel a little lethargic sometimes, but you're in a nursing home where you do nothing anyway, so that's pretty much, the routine of the day, isn't it? Like, get up, eat, have a nap, eat, have another nap, watch some TV, have dinner, have a nap, have a snack, go to bed. Okay? So yeah, you could feel a little lethargic. So I said, well, okay. Now, I got thinking about it. My sister had been over there the day before, and my sister is now in Puerto Vallarta for 2 weeks. She left this morning. She should be there now enjoying a cocktail. And when any one of us goes away, my mother likes to put a little guilt, on the other one that's not gone away yet or whatever. It's kind of thing. Like we shouldn't be going anywhere because, God forbid, anything would happen to her while we were gone. Put her on ice. We're having her cremated anyways. No, big deal. Okay, I joke. Actually, I don't. So I said to her, trying to figure out, well, what? Well, I've been in bed all day. Uh-huh. Are you going down for meals? Well, I just don't feel like eating. Here we go again. Because I've talked about...
We don't know whether she's sick or whether she's
faking it.
She's faking it because then she gets out of eating.
Yeah.
Because the week before we were over, and she was sort of complaining about the fact that they monitor what she eats. So
Oh, yeah. That was a little aside story
we may have said that last week.
Did we tell?
Yeah, probably.
about the woman. Yeah, I think we mentioned that
Yeah.
the dietitian was concerned.
So we don't know, and she's been lethargic lots of times
Yeah.
before. Like she did this a few times in the apartment too. You'd phone her up and she said, "Well, I've been in bed all day because I've been so tired."
Yeah.
Right. So, and we did know that they recently changed her hypertension medication. So we wondered if that was.
Yeah,
an
we
issue.
wondered if that was having an effect on her. Because if they change your medication, sometimes if your blood pressure goes lower, and a few of your nurses are in the medical profession on there, so you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong at this. But from my knowledge, if your blood pressure drops a little bit, it can make you feel tired, lethargic, that kind of thing. Anyways, so I said to her, well, hopefully you'll feel better next day, but I'll give you a call Tuesday to see how you are.
Well, and then, okay,
Yeah.
Tuesday, that's right.
Yeah. And so I figured, okay, if, and then she tells me, oh, my wheelchair broke. I want, your wheelchair broke? How
It's not that heavy.
No. Well, my mother's like 98 pounds soaking wet. And it's a good wheelchair. Like, it was a $10,000 wheelchair. So it's custom for her, the whole bit. So I said, well, why? Did a wheel drop off? What? Well, no, but they were putting me in the elevator to go down for dinner, and the nurse noticed something was wrong with the wheelchair. I'm not really sure what, but they've taken it away to have it fixed. I said, okay, so what do you have in the meantime? Well, they gave me one of the ones they have sitting around here, and she says, it's so god-awful uncomfortable. And I said, Mom, those ones are basic wheelchairs. Yeah. Well, I can't get around in it. Like, she gets around the other one.
Like she doesn't push the other one.
She doesn't push the other one. So, I said, okay, well, Mom, you'll probably get it back. They're fixing it, so good. So I said, I'll call you tomorrow, Tuesday, see how you are. And I'd mentioned this thing about the blood pressure pills. So I says, I will contact the nurse, the nurse practitioner, which is basically a doctor. And, if you're still not feeling well, and ask a few questions and things like that. So I called her on Tuesday. So, how you feel today? Well, I don't know. I said, have you been down? Yeah, I've gone down for my meals and stuff. Have you got your wheelchair back yet? No, they're still working on it, apparently. Apparently a couple of bolts were coming out. Okay. Well, I said, well, we'll be over. And I have another story to tell you about Tuesday as well, but Tuesday is our day for our housekeeper to come every other week, and that was the time she was supposed to come, and so we don't like to be here when she's cleaning. So we go off, and I had a sewing class anyways, and then we met up. Walter came, got me, and we went for lunch and whatnot, and our cleaning lady still hadn't shown up. It was a little later than usual, so Walter said, well, let's go over and visit your mother. So off we went. There she is, sprawled on the bed. She's fully dressed in the whole bed. And I said, so you still not feeling good today? Well, I don't know. And I said, have they come in taking your blood pressure? Oh, yeah, they've been in several times taking my blood pressure. And I said, and what have they told you? Well, they don't really say anything. Okay, give me some information here. I mean, they do say things, but whatever.
Or you don't ask.
No.
Which your mother's typical.
Which is typical. Ask. So I said, well, give me a second. I'm going to the nurse's station. I'm going to ask. So I went to the nurse's station, and I say to the nurse, okay, my mother's been saying that she hasn't been feeling well the last couple of days. What can you tell me about that? Well, the nurse kind of looked at me and said, well, we've been doing our usual thing with her, and she's fine. And I said, oh, okay. Well, and asked about the medication change and that. And she said, well, I'll go in and take her blood pressure right now. And I said, no, it's okay. I said, I just, is there a possibility that change could be, she says she's lethargic or whatever. She says, well, she really didn't know. But she's not the one who really administers all this stuff. She just does the routine stuff. The nurse practitioner is the one that has more details. And then I asked about the wheelchair. And she said, yeah, a couple of bolts were coming out of it. They caught it and they're fixing it. She should have it by tomorrow. I said, okay, great. Went back in, saw my mother. Said, well, Mom, they say everything seems to be normal, so I really don't know. And I said, maybe it's light deprivation. I mean, here in Canada this time of the year, it's dark. Okay, like for most of the time. Well, not all the time, but I mean, it's February. February's not a cheery month. In fact, I'm looking out our window right now, and it looks like it's snowing again. Yay! And so usually people do get it's what do they call it, SADS or something. What's that stand for? Something to do with light deprivation or something. It kind of makes you feel a little lethargic. Sometimes it affects people, makes them depressed. I don't know, because you're not getting as much light during the day. Well, she didn't know. This is the problem. She never knows. So, was it Wednesday? Let's see, Wednesday? No. What? Yeah, Wednesday morning, I get a call from the nursing home telling me that, she had a urinary tract infection. And they had given her something for that and everything. It was a mild one. Well, that may have been why she couldn't pinpoint it. So when I was talking to her again, I says, Mom, did they tell you have a urinary tract infection? Yeah, they said that. But she says, I don't know. There's usually pain with that. And I said,
no, not always.
Not always. I said, when Walter's mother was in the nursing home, she'd get these, and Walter always knew when because his mother.
Her dementia would get really bad.
Yeah. And I said, so they, one of the things that causes this, Mom, is because of lack of fluids. And she says, I've been drinking a lot. And ironically, at the same time, someone came into the room with the snack cart, and I hear my mother say, I guess they had cookies, and asked her if she wanted some cookies. And she said, well, what kind are they? And they said it was maple flavored or something. Well, yeah, she'd have a couple of those, but I don't want anything to drink, she says. So I said to her, Mom, you got to keep your fluids up. Well, I drink all the time. I said, they giving you cranberry juice? Oh, yes, they're getting. And I know she likes cranberry juice. And she says, oh, yeah, they're giving me cranberry juice. And I said, well, okay, but Mom, you might want to try. I said, I know that it makes you want to go to the bathroom, and I know you don't want to necessarily go to the bathroom, like kind of a thing. But I said, it's the choice between two, and I would say that going to the bathroom thing would be better than having a urinary tract infection. So anyways, I talked to her tail end of the week. I guess she's over this now or whatever, so I don't know. But yeah, so to answer your question, which was a long way to get around it, my mother is just being herself with it. I never know. So anyways, thanks for asking. Here's lots of stuff here. Tracy says, Puerto Vallarta, Love Boat. Yeah, it's my sister, but they're at a resort. They're actually at a timeshare, I think, that's owned by her husband's family. Julie says, yes, that's true, Stephen. Being on hypertension tablets can make you feel tired. And Laura says, SAD is seasonal affective disorders. Okay, I never could remember what that is. Julie says, my husband has to deal with that too, SAD. And Barbara, oh, hi, Barbara. UTIs present differently in the elderly. Yeah. And UTIs, Debs says, can be a cause of a lot of different symptoms. And Jody says, hi, Jody. I don't know if I said hello to you. Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression related to changes in seasons. Symptoms start in the fall and continue into winter months, sapping your energy and making you feel moody. Yeah, and I was also, but I didn't ask them about it. She is on an antidepressant, and I was just wondering if they had stopped that or had changed that. Well, they usually call you if they change anything, so I don't know. So anyways, yeah, that's the story of my mother. I also think, though, that part of her problem, too, as well as besides SADS and UTIs, is because my sister made the announcement she was going to Puerto Vallarta for 2 weeks, and that affects my mother. God, when we go to Australia in another 3 weeks' time or so, then my sister has to live with it. Yay! Whatever. Andy's here. Hi, Andy. And Janine says hi. And Laura says January and February are awful for me. Yeah, well, we all get a little cabin fever, at least in this country, too, because the weather's usually, like right now, whatever it's doing out there now does not look
Looks
good.
like it's snowing.
Yeah, it's snowing, it's blowing, and it looks like it's kind of on the wet side,
Yeah, it's
as long as it doesn't freeze. But anyways, so that's my mother. Um, I finished the art quilt. I'm going to
says
show
it's
what?
2 degrees Celsius here right now.
Okay.
So it's wet outside. It's above freezing. So
All right. If it drops though, it could get messy. Anyways, what was I going to talk about here? Oh yeah, the art quilt. I showed it on my vlog last week. Well, I finished it this weekend. I got it bound and everything, and actually, I think it turned out not too bad. With it now that it's all quilted and everything. But I'm going to show that tomorrow on my vlog if you're interested. We talked about our rug class. So what? You've got 2 more classes in the basic quilting, right?
yeah, but then the last class is when we're at that retreat, right? So hopefully I get most of it done.
Not much more to do on it.
No, I know.
Binding. A little more quilting and binding.
No, we're supposed to finish the quilting. I'm supposed to finish it before we start the class on Friday.
So what? She's going to
So
teach
then
you?
she's going to square it up
Yeah, well, that
and then
takes
do
2
the
minutes.
binding. But actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-sew the binding up. So
There's no. Oh yeah, you do. You have to put your strips together. Have you already picked your color?
yeah, I've got it all cut out and everything already.
Oh, okay. Well, aren't you just ahead of the game? I would have some more of that, please.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
would?
Yes, I
Okay.
would. You're closest to the bottle. Oh, this is it's Chris, right? From Inventing Thoughts. Hi, sound pretty cold there. Nice and sunny here. You'll love Australia. Yep, we know that. Inviting Thoughts, if you look for her YouTube channel, that's what's called Inviting Thoughts. I've been watching some of it. It's pretty interesting. I will do a review of that of her site as well. But I believe your name is Chris, right? Do I have that right? Inviting Thoughts. Yep, I got it, Chris. Okay. Oh, Laura, you're confusing people when you call Oshawa the Schwa. Remember, only Oshawatonians know what that means. So, what was I talking about? Sewing classes. Retreat's coming up in what? Not next week, week after.
Yeah, was it March 7th? Is it March 8th?
Yeah, March 7th. March 7th to the 10th. And also speaking of next week, okay, Stephen and Walter Live will be 1 hour later. Instead of 4, it'll be 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time because I'm doing an art journaling class next Sunday as well. So just a reminder. Okay. So, what do you want to talk about now? Do you want to talk about politics? Ford, our lovely premier, is now trying to strip away employees' rights. He doesn't know when to stop. He's already cut funding. He's making it sound like his cuts to funding for people with autistic children, for support services and things like that for them. He's trying to make it sound like it's an equitable system, but he's basically cut the funding for it, and they are not happy. And they've been protesting outside of the legislature and inside the legislation. He's cut tuition assistance for university students and college students. They've been protesting outside and inside the legislature as well, to the point where I guess some of them, they're young people, they use some foul language inside the House of Parliament, inside the legislature, and he turned around and before he kicked them out and said, "Oh, wash their mouths out with soap." Yeah, okay. Well, I have to admit, that's not the way you protest. You don't yell like F you to the premier kind of a thing, even if he is a kind of an F you kind of guy. But, I mean, that's just not right. But it's not going to get your cause across.
No.
So he's done that. And now he's trying to, he already rescinded what the last government said was going to happen in January this year. They were going to raise the minimum wage from $14 an hour to $15 an hour. He stopped that. And but he calls his government for the people. I don't know who those people are that he's for. Only the rich, I would say. But complete idiot. Such a mini Trump. There's just no two ways about it. Oh, is Debs got to leave? Yep, she's up for next week. Okay, bye, Debs. Yeah, so I was just catching up here. So, anyways, that's been the excitement in our government this week, and who knows next week? Who knows what he'll do next? Because he's a complete idiot with it. But I don't know if he's as much of an idiot as the people who voted him into power. So, whatever. Oh, somebody new. Miguel, welcome, Miguel. New person. And where are you from, Miguel, if you don't mind me asking? And I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And if not, do correct me, please. Oh, Andy says he's not a mini Trump. He's a Trump twin. Yeah. So, here's a question. I think I might have asked it a week ago, but I can't remember because of concentrating the art. Does anybody know anything about Christopher Allen?
I think you might ask that, yeah.
Like, where has he gone? I did a search on the internet this afternoon to see if he, has a Facebook page. I found his Facebook page, but there's no postings in it. Just some pictures. He has an Instagram, but that's just pictures. I thought maybe he might have written something like, okay, I have my problems with him, but I've kind of got addicted to his vlogs. And he hasn't done a vlog in 3 weeks, which I find kind of unusual for him because he seems to be the kind who, he likes to be on YouTube all the time. So I don't know. If anybody knows anything, let me know. It's kind of a mystery with that. Another mystery we had was, I was mentioning Tuesday, our cleaning lady was supposed to show up. She didn't. This has happened to us before. Not regularly, but it has happened before. And usually it's always happening around this time of the year because I guess her father lives in Florida and she goes down for a week or so, which is fine. I've got nothing against her having a holiday. It's no biggie. It's just I would have liked to have known that she wasn't coming on Tuesday because we kind of plan our schedule around when she's going to come. So no message, nothing, no phone call, anything. So I sent her a voicemail. And I said to her, you didn't show up. I did that the next day. I said, you didn't show up to clean. I'm hoping you're okay. Let us know, kind of a thing. Nothing. No answer. Nothing from that. Until this morning, I got a text message from her. I guess her oldest son had an accident, a snowmobile accident, and broke his hip. And she is in Panama, Florida, which I think is where her father's trailer is, down there as well. She says, I'm sorry, I hope it didn't cause you any problems. Well, what are you going to say?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to know, that she wasn't going to show up. But maybe she didn't show up that day because that's when the snowmobile accident happened.
Maybe.
And then, you know how it is when she occasionally can't make it on our normal day, and then she usually say, oh, well, let's wait till next time.
Yeah.
It was just assumed, let's wait till next time, but didn't bother telling us.
That may be it. I mean, I'm sorry that her son had that accident and everything. I mean, yeah, that's unforeseeable. What I find, though, is just
She's been like that before, though.
Well, her son had an accident, broke his hip. That's pretty serious. And now she's in Florida. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, it was just a little bit of an inconvenience only because...
Well, it would have been nice if we'd known because then we wouldn't have been out waiting for her to show up.
Yeah, I mean, and I have nothing against her taking a holiday. That's just fine by me. She deserves a holiday like anybody else with it. So that's great. But I'd like...
Let us know.
Let us know. Obviously she has your phone with her because she text messaged me today. But that was 5 days after the fact. So, whatever. So, okay. Whatever, you just can't get good help these days, I guess. Oh, Pracy says lots of YouTube shakeups this week. What do you mean, Pracy? I don't know what you mean. Tell us. We want to know. Chris says, would be nice to let you know she would not be able to make it and reschedule or something. Yeah, exactly. And actually, I have a friend that usually comes over for dinner and for hot tubbing on Thursday nights. Now, we've been doing this for probably 15 years. And so I've got dinner ready. That's the night Walter usually goes off to the gym that night and whatnot because he doesn't like this other person. They kind of clash a little bit because they're both kind of the same personality. Well, not really, but in ways, some ways. Anyways, he usually shows up at 6 o'clock. Sometimes he's a little late, but only by 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So I'm sitting waiting. I had dinner ready and no show. 6:30 comes around, no show. No messages, nothing. So I wrote him an email and said, okay, are you showing up tonight or what? Let me know. Are you okay? First thing you think of, well, maybe had an accident, whatever. Or the other thing is he's a nighthawk and he loves playing video games. And it's not unusual for him to get so immersed in a new video game that he loses track of all time. And this is happening.
And he's currently not working.
And he doesn't work and he's almost 40. Okay. You do the math. So he has before said, oh, I forgot all about it and everything. I got so involved in my game and then I was up till 6 o'clock in the morning playing the game and I went to bed and I slept until 9 o'clock that night. Well, that wasn't the problem this time because I finally did get a message from him. And this is the message I got. Oh, sorry, I forgot all about it. My bad. We've been doing this for 15 bloody years. Really. I don't know. So it was kind of a week of disappointments, I guess. Tracy says lots of big advertisers stepped away from YouTube due to the child porn scandal that broke last week. There was a child porn scandal? Tracy, fill in the details. I didn't know any of this. This sounds juicy. Do tell. Joyce says, actually, it's not that unusual for Christopher Allen to take a break from YouTube for a while. I've been watching him for years. Vlogmas takes a lot out of him. He'll be back, I'm sure. Oh, okay. Well, he did do one every day at Vlogmas. So, yeah, and I know, yeah, that can take a lot out of you, as told. So, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Funny. I don't know why I should care. Because I don't know. I just somehow there's something about him that it attracts me to his vlogs. I mean, so whatever. Andy says, "What child porn scandal?" We'll have to look it up. Tracy and it says Suzuki horrible. Yeah. Okay, people. I don't know what you're talking about. Now I'm intrigued. What's this all about?
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah, look it up on your funkin' wagonal here. That's an old expression. Because who wants to know? We didn't do any child pornography, did we? No, we didn't. God, that's disgusting. Well, okay. Google it. It's too much. Okay, well, Walter's already Googling it, so there we go. Okay, so what's eating Walter?
I don't know. I know I say that every week.
Yeah, you do, but usually there's something bugging you.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, wasn't there something about... No, I don't know. I can't...
It says YouTube's pedophilia problem, more than 400 channels deleted.
Whoa. Child porn on YouTube? But they have algorithms that are supposed to...
Fortnite maker pulls ads over YouTube pedophile ring claims. Epic game withdrawals. All pre-roll YouTube advertising following child porn stuff.
Whoa, didn't know about this. Luch says, I remember that encyclopedia said. Well, Luch, you're dating yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we'll have to look into that a little bit more. Maybe there's a YouTube about it. Yeah, well, it's not funny. Shouldn't laugh.
No, well, they seem to online stuff. There's a lot of crap on it. So.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, my vlog last week too. Speaking of YouTube, did you notice that? I don't know. No one's made any comments about it, so I guess I didn't offend anybody, and I'm glad because I didn't intend to offend anybody. But I did my 5 top. And why 3 out of my 5 top YouTube channels I don't watch much anymore. You know, like I talked about Melanie Lane, who does all about Cricut and everything. And she's an excellent source for Cricut and design space. If you have, you know, a Cricut.
Did you talk about this last week?
Did I?
I think you did.
Geez, I'm losing it. Or are you making it up as we go
No,
along?
you were talking about several YouTube channels, or no, well, either that or was that on your
That was on my vlog.
vlog?
On my
Okay, well
blog.
that's it.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. But the reason I did that particular one was because I was trying to show how things evolve over time on YouTube and how what's hot for an individual for a while can get kind of boring and stale. Maybe like my vlog. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, Chris says more than 400 YouTube channels were deleted.
Yeah, I said that on the little thing that I read just now. I hadn't heard that. Neither one of us had heard that.
No,
probably
I
'cause
haven't
we
heard
don't
that
listen
one
to
at all.
news all the time. So
Well, not that kind of news.
no, you think I usually read my news on the internet, and I'm surprised I didn't run into that.
But they didn't even have it on like the regular news on TV,
No,
which I would have thought something like that would have been.
maybe they were afraid it would alert pedophiles for more.
Oh, maybe that's a
I don't know.
possibility. Maybe so. Who knows? Okay, so nothing pissing you off? What pissed me off is no-show people. I put here. That was what I was just
Yeah.
talking about, the housekeeper and my friend. I do have one, but I might save it for tomorrow's vlog. Well, I can talk about it now because it's kind of, but talking about quality of podcasts. I don't know about you, but I listen to a lot of various podcasts too, especially when I'm sewing. And there's some quilting ones that I listen to, which are very good. But the quality of them sometimes, like, okay, when you do a YouTube channel or you do a podcast, all right, there are bound to be mistakes, especially when you're first starting out with your technical connections and things like that. But two podcasts that I listen to are done by people who are not strangers to doing a podcast. It's not their first rodeo, so to speak. Well, one of them is a lawyer, a law professor actually, out of someplace in the States. She has this research kind of quilting podcast where she's trying to document as much information as she can about quilters from a wide demographic. And also, she's a copyright lawyer. So she mixes the two together, talking about, like, you know, the rights of pattern designers, for example, or quilt makers, or people who get their quilts quilted by professionals, you know, like what intellectual property and stuff like that. And I find it kind of interesting when I can hear it. She usually does telephone interviews, and there have been many of them that she's done where all you hear is one side of the conversation on her podcast because the volume or something isn't set right for the person she's interviewing. And so she asks a question, what do you think about this, this, and this? And all you hear is silence or a very small whisper from the other person. Now, you would think before you actually made that podcast available to the general public, you might listen to parts of it to make sure your technical part is working properly. I mean, yeah, occasionally you make mistakes. I certainly have. I know that. But, you know, she's doing something she's archiving all of this. It's going to be part of a research document. So you would think she'd be a little bit more, you know, particular about it. Apparently not. And then one I was listening to this afternoon that comes from a woman who's been doing this for many years. She's part of a company as well, so it's very professional. In the background, I can hear two guys talking, sound like technicians, talking about the audio buttons and settings and that. So there's two conversations going. The main one, and then this one underneath. And it went on for the whole thing. And it was like, and then nobody realized this. Good thing I was waiting to hear one of these guys say something filthy or something in there, but he didn't about it. But what I mean is the quality of podcasts. And I suppose it goes with YouTube channels too. I've made mistakes in doing my YouTube before. And you've noted them. You know, I put a segment in the wrong place, or I've duplicated something I forgot, or I thought I had the right thing in, and that. It happens. It does happen. But I review my vlogs, everything we put up at the YouTube. I review it, and if I find a mistake, I try to correct it before too many people see it. You know, I don't do a lot of editing, as you well know. But anyways, I don't know. That's kind of not much of anything to be pissed off at. It happens, but whatever. I thought it was kind of there. Let's see what's being said here. Chris says, I watched that vlog of yours yesterday and felt similar about the same channel. Still watch them occasionally. Yeah, I mean, they're not bad channels or anything. I just find them now, they've become extremely specialized in what they're showing. I mean, Ken's Creations, all he talks about anymore is chalk couture, and that's his business, and I get it. But he used to do other things as well, which were kind of interesting. I mean, he's a bit of a character himself, which I suppose kind of makes his YouTubes kind of interesting, because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. But this chalk couture thing, I would have thought that's a one-off. I mean, how many chalkboards does anybody really need? But it seems to be popular. So I don't know if any of you have ever done this chalk couture stuff. I mean, it's only recently starting to come available, I guess, in Canada. But it's kind of like Tupperware. You know, it's you can't buy it in stores. You have to know somebody.
Well, isn't that like that scrapbooking thing? The lady on here.
Oh, what? Stamping Up. Yeah, it's kind of like that. But Stamping Up's a whole lot of things. It's not, it's ink and it's stamps and it's paper and things. Chalk couture is basically chalkboard paint, a chalkboard, and some stencils. Well, they're sort of silk screenish like. But you do one, well, there you go. Like, unless you're in a business where you're making those kind of boards, say, for a menu, or your wedding planner. I think they're very popular to have these chalkboard things with stuff on them at weddings now and that kind of stuff. But for the average person, I couldn't see it. And it's not cheap. It's kind of on the expensive side. So I don't know. What else is here? Tracy says, I hate watch several channels. Do you mean you watch ones you don't like? Is that what that means? Chris says, I'm fairly new to YouTube. I have not done anything live yet. Scares me a little. I record with a video camera. Just bought a microphone, so hoping the sound quality a little better. Actually, it just takes time. But one tip, Chris, and I hope you don't take offense to this, but one of your videos, one of your first videos, or maybe it was your recent one, I was watching, I think you had the TV going in the background. And that was a bit of a distraction from what you were showing and telling me. I mean, your video was great, but you just sometimes you see, depending on the sensitivity of your microphone, it can pick up stuff. Also, if you go to monetization someday with YouTube, if you pick up like the radio or music in the background or something, YouTube will stop monetizing you because a lot of that music will have copyright on it. Although, if you want background music, YouTube has a library of royalty-free music that you can use that doesn't have any bearing on copyright. So, just a suggestion in case you didn't know that. Tracy says, has 0 chalkboards. My handwriting sucks. Laura says he's been promoting his paints lately. Yeah, well, are those the chalk couture paints? Because that's basically what they are, the chalk couture. Jody says, actually, Stephen, your YouTube videos are excellent. You put a lot of thought and outline what you want to cover, and I know I'm not alone when I say that. I look forward to your videos. Well, thank you, but why is it then that I only have 2,600 subscribers?
Because you don't promote your stuff.
Well, maybe I should put child porn in as a tag. Maybe I'll get a lot then. Yeah, right. I don't think so. Well, thank you for that, Jody. I do. I outline what I'm going to talk about, and I have the segments, as you know. But, I don't do a lot of editing, mainly because I'm lazy. So when I say something on there or I make a mistake or something happens, I just carry on. There you go. Unless it's a real, major problem. But, but I do have it, outlined. I have my little segments on there. And Chris says, oh, yeah, I did that video in stages and forgot about that until it was over. I love feedback. It's how you learn to get better. Yeah, but you shouldn't be afraid to put up YouTubes. It's how you learn. Some people are extremely professional, but they're the ones that get like 1 million views on one thing in a day and stuff like that. But the hours they must spend. Like, look at Mike Deacon. His are very professional that he does. And he puts out like about 3 YouTube videos lately a week. But he tells you, he edits.
Well, you can tell because there's usually the...
Yeah, he edits those. And that takes a lot of time to do that kind of thing. I suppose, though, you know, the more professional they look. Oh, but speaking of YouTube channels, Jody sent me a message about a guy, he's Canadian, out in Alberta. He's an antique dealer, and we sort of binged watched he had a little sort of a mini series on there about a house he bought that was owned by a hoarder. And the house was like 100 years old, and it was a mess inside. I mean, if you've ever watched any of that hoarding video stuff on TV, it was piled to the rafters. He bought the whole property, the house, the land it's on, and the contents. And he's found a lot of really cool stuff in there, and he's redoing the house. But the other thing that was really interesting was the lady that owns the house is still alive. She's 103 years old. She's born in 1916. And he interviewed her. And she is a famous Canadian potter. Now, I think she's famous if you were into potting, you know, making pots. You might know her. I don't know. I didn't know anything about her. But now he wants to try and get her property declared a historical site. Well, anyways, it's really interesting series. There's 6 parts to it to date. He's not finished yet, I don't think, showing what he's doing with the house. But his name, he goes by Curiosity Incorporated. I will probably do, not this week coming, because I've already planned out what I'm doing this week coming, but the week after I'll probably do a quickie review of his YouTube channel. But in the meantime, you can check it out. I found it really kind of interesting. And if you're interested in history and in antiques and in
hoarding,
going through somebody's garbage to find good stuff, you probably like it. His videos are fairly professionally done. He does some editing on them as well. But yeah, thanks Jody for sending that to me, because I actually had seen on the sidebar on YouTube how they come up with recommended ones. I saw this one that says, I bought a hoarder's house. You gotta be careful how you say that. It's a hoarder's house that he bought. And I never clicked on it. I kept thinking about clicking on it, never did. So yeah. So anyways, and if anybody else finds some interesting YouTube channels, they don't have to be about crafting and quilting. They can be about anything that you think might be of interest. Send the link to me, because I'm always looking for new stuff on YouTube. I watch more YouTube than I do regular television, quite frankly. I find YouTube more interesting than regular television. Yeah, Christine says, Curiosity Inc. Yeah. Tracy watches Hoarders every Sunday morning. Joy says, thank you, Stephen, for bringing his YouTube channel up to our group. I find him, Alex, that's his name, is Alex, to be very hard worker, humble, and just a nice person. He really overcomes obstacles. Yeah, and I think he's a very clever businessman, too.
Yeah.
He bought an entire antique store for its contents. There was another video on there, I just watched it today, to put in his own antique store. But it looks like he's clever in that he's doing this YouTube videos, but I think he's getting people from around the world or around North America who contact him because he shows some of the stuff he's got, and there's, you know, specific collectors out there looking for things like that, and they contact him. I think that's very clever. I think it's a very clever way of using YouTube. Plus it's entertaining. So, you know, I find it interesting. Laura says, I watch so many card making videos. Yep. And Chris says, my mom's a hoarder, so to get her out, to get rid of, so hard to get her to get rid of anything. Yeah, every time I watch...
Well, I think a lot of people are somewhat of a hoarder. I guess maybe we are too, to some degree. But not to the point where you can't walk around in a place or something like that. That's crazy. What, like boxes and boxes
and
stuff.
Yeah, and you can't get into rooms and stuff like that. But
I mean, everybody collects stuff, but to to the point where it just piles up.
Every now and then you need to purge. In fact, after we watched that one of his, or anytime I see a hoarding video, I suddenly say to Walter, oh, we really need to go through the cupboards. We got to clean out stuff. And of course, Walter always says, like the crawl space. Yes, we have to get into the crawl space because there's a lot of crap in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you did clean it out once.
Okay, and then you filled it right back up.
Oh,
again.
what, it was me who filled it up.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I think there's a few things of yours under there.
No, not that much. But you filled it right back up again. I took out all those old computers and stuff like that. You had just piles and piles of old computers in there.
You know, one day I'm going to do a video from his office. You want to talk about a hoarder?
It's not that bad. Look at your stuff.
You have to iron on the floor.
Yeah, well, it's a 10 by 10 room.
After you move the stuff off the floor. Yeah, right. What do you mean? My stuff's all organized. Tracy says, I found a non-fundy homesteading family on YouTube. So refreshing. What's a non-fundy homesteading? Is spell checker kicking in?
Is it something like Off the Grid or something?
I don't know. And Laura says, I watch Small Houses channel too. Yeah, we watched that.
But apparently, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the manufacturer. It was on the news. There's some company in Canada that was a small house scam type thing. Where they have promised all these people to build these houses and they were shoddy condition.
Oh yeah?
And now the business has gone out of business and nobody has any where they can go back and on them and get their money back type of thing.
Oh, well, like anything. I mean, it's like buying a car. You get scammed on that too. But now I suppose everybody knows what we're talking about tiny houses. Those houses that are basically on a trailer, but people...
They're sort of like fancy, what do you call it, caravans. Or
yeah, kind of thing, mobile homes.
Mobile homes.
In a sense. But what's interesting about them is I like them for storage ideas because how such a small space, they utilize every square inch, but they utilize it in clever ways to hide stuff, to hold stuff and things like that. I think they're kind of interesting. I think I'd be claustrophobic in one, but I don't know. Jody says, yes, he's smart, meaning Alex. Ambitious. The hoarder house is 3 hours from where he lives, so it's not easy to make trips back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hoarder house. I forget the name of the town, but it's
Provost.
Yeah, it's Provost, and he's in Edmonton. So
yeah, he's 3 hours away.
And Edmonton this time of year is pretty cold.
Yeah, well, you could see in those videos too the snow and everything that they have there.
Well, if it's minus
40,
if it's minus 40 Celsius,
it's minus 40
it's
Fahrenheit.
minus 40 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, because that's when the two somehow mathematically work out the same. Tracy says, I hoard bitterness and irony. What do you keep that in? Just not wanting to know. Tracy says, non-fundamentalist Christian homesteaders. Oh, okay. Lives off the land in the sticks and raise chickens. Oh.
Non-fundamentalist
Christian.
Well, what that?
Wait, what? Non-fundamentalist Christian?
So Catholics?
Yeah. How can you be a there's they're just Christians. I don't understand that, but is there a YouTube channel for that? We need to look that one up. Andy says, I watch my Self-Reliance. The guy works on his cabin that he built somewhere in Canada. Oh, I think I came across him one night when we were scanning through YouTube videos. And he's off the grid kind of a thing. Well, there's other YouTube channels where people go off the grid. They're all like independent of everything. I couldn't live without my technology. Oh, God, no. Don't take away my dishwasher. Don't take away my Alexa.
Oh, she clued in.
Did she clue in?
Yeah, as soon as you said that word.
No, didn't say any more about it. We've been having fun with Alexa since we got her.
You said it again.
And we got her a little brother. We got her an Echo as well. So he's downstairs running stuff. Let's see what I'm just looking here. Carol says, laugh out loud, I call them closet houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they basically are.
Well, you can't be a hoarder in one of those.
No, Laura says she loved the one that had storage up their stairs. I know that they do a lot of things with their stairs. They put them up there. The thing is, they're lofts. Like, if I stood up and could not stand up, and I'm only 5'6", I would be a panic attack. I'd be claustrophobic with that. I don't like things.
Whereas with me, I'm fine with
Oh yeah, you'd love it. You'd live in a box. You might be soon. I don't. Oh, Phyllis is here. Hi, Phyllis. Better late than never. Sorry. No, Phyllis. It isn't better. It just makes us bitter when you're late, Phyllis. Really? Really, Phyllis? Really? How could you do that to us? We've had no shows all this week. You missed all that. You'll have to watch the replay to catch on that. But Phyllis, I'm very disappointed. I see that's tongue in cheek. Okay. All right. So that takes us to kind of what we've been watching. So Discovery Season 2, which is, the whole Star Trek thing. Actually, I'm liking Season 2 better than Season 1. With it.
Well, maybe because the characters have been developed a little better.
That could be. And, great show on Netflix. Umbrella Academy. Really weird. But I like it. We've watched the first, 3 episodes now?
Yeah.
Into it. I really like it. So that's one if you haven't seen. It's kind of science fiction-y, weird. I don't know why.
And it's filmed in Toronto.
Yeah, it's filmed
Hamilton.
in Toronto and Hamilton. Hamilton is a city next door to Toronto for those of you that aren't from our area.
So there's a lot of movies that are filmed in, a lot of TV shows and movies that are filmed in our area over the years. And
Well, we're Hollywood North. So they call
and
us.
apparently Netflix bought a lot of studio time in Toronto as well. One is, I guess, because our dollar's usually lower than the American dollar. And the other thing is, I guess Toronto bends over backwards to help movie producers and stuff like that do their filming. So a lot of times we'll be watching a show and first thing you'll notice is a building that's, or a facade or something like that.
Yeah, I'm just writing this down. Laura says she's been watching the OA.
Oh, is that?
Is it
the new season yet?
Is it the second season, or is it still in the first season? Because we watched the first season. It seems like ages ago when we saw that.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years.
That's always the problem with Netflix, anyways, or any of these shows. You binge watch the first season of it, and then it's a year and a half before you get the second season. And by the time you get the second season, you forgot what happened in the first season. At least I do.
Like a lot of these shows will say it's filmed in New York. They'll say it, or they'll have something that takes place in New York when it's actually in Toronto.
Yeah. And Jody says, has anybody been watching the KonMari episodes? That's the organizer. I've been meaning to take a look at that.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Isn't that where she says if it doesn't give you joy, throw it away? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because Lindsay the Frugal Crafter's all about that. Marnie Small Art in Ireland, she's all about that.
I have that book that Amy gave me, or is it Amy? Luba gave it to me.
No, Luba gave it to you.
The book about that lady that does the KonMari thing.
Yeah, so
I haven't read it yet.
I know it's all the rage right now in terms of organizing. I think she rolls her underwear and puts it on its edge in a drawer. I don't know. She's got lots of ideas. I don't know if that was her or not, but apparently she's the buzz on organization these days. And I've been meaning to watch some of her videos just to see, because I love things about organizing. Doesn't mean I'm always organized, but you should watch that.
Yeah, well,
You should roll your underwear.
Well, I'm not as organized, but I am somewhat organized.
Yeah, what
I've
day
got
was
a folder full of Australia stuff.
Yeah, I know. Well, on business stuff, you're organized, but whatever. Barbara says our crawl space is a nightmare. We try to do it, but give up after a few minutes. Yeah, well, the problem with crawl spaces too is they're crawl spaces. I mean, if you're only 2 feet high, it would be much easier. I'm thinking of hiring midgets to come in, like little elves.
Oompa Loompas.
Yeah. Oh God. Now we'll probably said something that's not politically correct about little people. I didn't mean that if there's any little people watching us. No, we think, oh, well, it'll just get worse. Laura says, I thought Marnie Smaller was moving to Poland. Well, she comes from Poland, actually. Her family is there. She talked about that, but I have a feeling they decided not to. I don't know. She hasn't talked any more about it, and I watch her all the time, so I don't know. Priest says, I prefer the Fly Lady house cleaning M plan. I don't know what that means either, Precy. I'm sorry. Phyllis says she vacationed there. Oh,
Yeah,
you mean
she did.
Marnie? Yeah, she did. She had a whole bunch of videos about it when she and her husband got married there too. At the time, they were making it legal after having 2 children. Jody says, baby boomers struggle with it. I have to work in sections. I couldn't put everything in a pile and start going through it like Connemari recommends.
Yeah, I don't know about that. How to put everything into a pile and then...
Oh, Precy, you're so funny because you're so cryptic in what you write. I have to really think about it. She goes, purple in capital A. And then she's look up Fly Lady. I'll do that. Well, now we're orange. Okay, and if you watch carefully, you're probably, I think I've told people this before, but you may not have been with us at the time. We have something called hue lights. Hue lights are bulbs that actually Alexa controls them now, but they're controlled from your iPhone as well. And we have it set, there's different scenes you can have. You can have, relaxing, whatever, winter scene, and it depends on the colors. Well, we have it on color loop. So it fades from one color. See, now we're going to purple. But those lights are over here where you can't see them right now where our couches are and everything. Because
so it loops color. Actually, we don't really notice them that much anymore. But it's sort of...
It's fun.
Fun.
And actually, you can get them so that they will go off to music as well.
Yeah.
You can have disco. And you can have different ones like for Christmas time. You can have...
For Valentine's Day. Was it sunset?
Yeah, different ones like that kind of
I mean, they're pricey to buy,
yeah,
but they're supposed to last a long time.
Phyllis says her son has all that in his office den. And, Joyce says, laugh out loud, my Alexa just heard your voice, Stephen, and responded. Oh, she didn't hear me say it.
No, whenever you say that word, her name,
yeah,
she lights up.
Alexa, how are you?
I'm feeling 1 part studious and 2 parts silly, but I suppose that's normal when you're writing science jokes.
She breaks me up. She can be such a bitch. We were asking her to, we bought, well, we've got it for 30-day free trial, but I mean, it means we'll have it now. Amazon Music Unlimited, because she taps right into that. And we were getting sick of, when we were putting through the test of what songs we wanted, she'd come up and say, here's a sample, because we didn't have unlimited.
Yeah, but actually I did find some glitches with her because, especially last night, I wanted to play a particular song, and it was by a composer or whatever, a musician called Alison Gier, and she could not find it on her system. And I went online later to Amazon Music, and it's there. It's either she doesn't understand our accent or what, which is annoying. There's another song that we were looking for by a group called Blanche-Mange, right?
Yeah.
Blanche-Mange. And no matter which way we pronounce that word, she still cannot pick up that song.
She won't pick that one up. Oh, Tracy says, ask Alexa for a Donald Trump joke.
Alexa, say a Donald Trump joke.
I don't have a joke about that.
Oh, she's politically correct. She doesn't have a joke about that. Alexa, pull my finger.
Well,
You might need to check your pants after that one.
We're such boys. Alexa, rip us one.
No.
No, she didn't get
Alexa, rip one.
I'm having trouble with accessing your
Oh,
feisty
well.
fart skill right now.
Your what?
Feisty farts.
Oh, feisty.
Maybe our internet should be working okay.
Well, it's working fine. Yes, we wouldn't be doing
Yeah,
this
okay, fine.
if it couldn't be. But anyways, hours of fun with Alexa, especially if you have nobody else to talk to. Get an Alexa.
I'm not sure.
Alexa, stop. Phyllis says, I'll get my place all neat and tidy and let it gather again. Only in my bedroom and my studio. Rest of the house is fine. Yeah, well, it's easy to get things to...
Well, it's one thing that, like, some people... My sister is not the best housekeeper in the world. Ooh, I better not say that.
No, she might be watching it.
Oh, no,
your
she
sister...
knows that. She's just... It's a little disheveled.
It's not as organized as...
It's a little disheveled, which she gets upset when I go over there and say, oh, I haven't cleaned up and all this other stuff. But it's not like... I mean, it's a little disheveled, but that's just the way she is. So.
Our place is very tidy. Before the house cleaner comes to clean,
But it's
we
not,
clean.
It's not like a hoarder's place where you
No.
can't walk through from one place to another and there's boxes and
The
lots of
secret
stuff.
is lots of cupboards and drawers. Don't look in those if you come to our house, because that's what looks like a hoarder stuff. But if you can slide it out of the way, it's hidden,
But,
then it's okay.
Yeah, I think people that are hoarders really cannot part with anything.
Well, it's a psychological
Yeah.
thing. That's what they say on that show, Hoarders or whatever, on there, that these people have an emotional problem, and it gives them comfort in some way. And I think there's a little bit of a hoarder in all of us too, because especially crafters. I mean, when I did the big purge about a year and a half ago, maybe it's almost been 2 years, probably time for another purge of all my crafting
It's been more
stuff.
than 2 years ago.
Was it more than that? How time flies when you're
It was
having
probably
fun.
4 years ago.
Was that 4 years ago?
Well, how long have you been retired?
6 years.
It was at least 4 years ago. You were retired a couple of years before you started purging stuff.
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, whatever. I probably need to do it again. But I look at the stuff and I go, I might need that someday.
Yeah, well, I have the same thing. I'll be starting to throw stuff out, and then I'll pick something up and think, do I want to get rid of that? And then I go, oh, no. It ends up back in the drawer again. And then every time. And then what really annoys me is that the one time you sit there and you go, oh, okay, fine, I haven't used that in 1,000 years. You throw it out, right? Well, then a week later you think, oh, shit.
I need it.
I need that.
Yeah. Well, then I also sort of look at it, and this is the sort of the cheap bastard in me. I look and go, I spent a lot of money on that. I've never used it, but I spent a lot of money on that, so I don't want to get rid of it. Yeah. I'm getting a little better. Well, no. I'm a lot better on the scrapbooking stuff. I never buy any that anymore. Now I spend it all on fabric and quilting stuff. So, yeah.
And see, that's part of the problem in my room right now is that I bought a bunch of fabric and stuff because I used to do stained glass all the time. Right now, it's hard to find stained glass supplies. So, and he's gotten into the quilting, and I got a sewing machine upstairs. So now I started going into doing some sewing. And at first I was a little reluctant, but actually I'm beginning to get the hang of it a bit more.
I think that we could redesign the workshop and my sewing area down in there and make it into a combination workshop, sewing room.
Well, I could move the table saw out of there because that would free up a lot of space.
Well, yeah. When was the last time you used the table saw?
Oh, about a year ago.
I mean, I don't say necessarily get rid of it because it is.
Well,
handy,
I can move it out in the
but I
garage
think
because the only time I ever use it.
then we have to clean out the
is in
garage.
the sun. Yeah, I gotta clean out the garage too. So, there's.
Well, if we take my car out of the garage and we clean up the garage and then we insulate the garage and then we could make the whole garage into a sewing room. We could get a long arm in there. But I kind of still like the idea of using the dining room and living room and converting it over. But I keep working on them for that idea, for our living room, dining room. Because we don't really use those rooms. And we're going to redecorate them eventually anyways. We didn't do it this year because we were going to Australia again. And what's more important, redecorating or Australia? Australia, because we love Australia. Although I wonder if we'll make
Actually, it's more we like traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this time it's Australia. Maybe it'll be another time. Actually, okay, what's interesting about a lot of people look at it and say, oh, well, you know, well, Australia's a long ways away. It's a long flight. There's no doubt about it. Okay?
Yeah, for us.
But if you spend 3 weeks away, I may have said this before. I don't
You
know.
live there, Chris. You should love it.
If you spend whenever you go on vacation, it costs money, right? But when you if you go 3 weeks to Florida, or if you go 3 weeks to Australia, the only difference in cost is the price of the flight.
Yeah, basically.
An actual fact, it's probably cheaper to go to Australia
Because the exchange rate on the money,
than it is to go to Florida.
our
for
money is
3 weeks.
about the same as Australian money in terms of the value. I think what was it last? It was we were $1
Well-
for an Australian dollar. No, how's that work? We were making a cent off of
Yeah,
it.
well, actually, when I booked the trip, it was our 95 cents of our dollar equaled one Australian dollar, so it was a
bargain
so
then.
it was a
But
bargain.
that's changed now.
But
hasn't
it's
it?
changed. We're closer to par right now. But
Alexa, what's the
no, I'll look it up. I can do it right
The
now.
definite article that is usually defined as resort as part of a title.
She's great.
That's because you just paused when
I
you
know. Well, I
asked
had to think about how to word it. Shut up, Alexa. Alexa, shut up.
The definite article that is usually defined
Alexa,
as
stop.
resort as part-
Stupid. Anyway, Alexa, what's the value of the Canadian dollar against the Australian dollar?
$1 Canadian is worth 1.1 Australian dollars.
It's
Well,
still
see, according to
1.1.
this, it's 1.06.
Whoa, I like that one better.
But this one's actually more accurate, I think.
Is it? Ooh.
Yeah, so actually we're pretty good.
We get 6 cents more. Ooh.
Anyway, so I usually get 3 cents more because there's usually
Yeah,
exchange.
kill all the joy in it, will
But
you?
anyway, so like when we went to Florida, right? And we went to Florida and booked a hotel.
Yeah.
We were paying Canadian dollars for that hotel, over $200 a night.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Well, most of the hotels we've booked in Australia are about $150 a night.
Bargain. And those ones, for the most part, come with a
And they're-
kitchen and a washer and a dryer.
Yeah. So
The ones we were staying in Florida did not.
So accommodation will be cheaper. Food will be about the same as what we pay here for food. Actually, groceries are a little bit more expensive, but groceries in the U.S. are from where mind you, we didn't shop at a discount store in the U.S. We shopped at Publix, which I've heard that is expensive in the U.S.
Yes.
And
Selection sucks.
we
dude.
did find that the prices in that store were quite a bit more than what you were used to paying. So, so that there's that, and that's in American dollars, and then we have to convert to Canadian dollars,
Yeah.
which American dollars to us is we have to pay about $1,
about
$1.30
$1.30.
for each American dollar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
actually, it is, other than the cost of the flight, it is the living expenses while we're in Australia are cheaper than going to the U.S.
Yeah. And we did get a sale on the flight. Our cheapest flight yet. This will be our third time to Australia.
Yeah, we got a return flight to Australia from Toronto for $1,220.
If we wanted to go to Vancouver, where my brother lives, it would probably cost us what, about $800 round
About
trip?
$800 round trip, yeah.
In our
And
own country.
If we go to Florida right now, it'll cost us anywhere between $600 and $800
Yeah.
return.
So, really. So another reason why to visit Australia with it all. I mean, yeah, lots of people complain about the length of the flight, but I don't find it all that bad. You watch a lot of movies. You can get caught up on
Well, you
several
have to
books, but-
actually, personally, I psych myself out a bit about.
You do what?
No, I meant
Oh, you said psych.
psych.
Okay, I thought you said something else. Never mind.
What else?
Never mind.
Oh.
I'm not going to say it.
Psych myself out
Okay.
that we're going on this long trip. I mean, if we drive to Florida, it would take us 18 hours to drive to Florida.
Yeah.
Right? So if we're taking 18 hours to fly to Australia.
True. But, one, you wouldn't have a screaming baby that you want to open a window and stuff it out at 35,000 feet. Two, you could pick where you wanted to eat. You wouldn't have to be slopping horrible airplane food. Three, you could get out and stretch and find a bathroom along the way. You didn't have to stand in the middle of a hallway and wait for somebody in there who just ate something that didn't agree with them. And then you walk in, you go, whoa, this is a good place for an air freshener. Okay. Did you hear about the one about the guy who went, where did we hear this? Well, maybe that was on last week's. Maybe that's where I heard it.
Where? Wow.
You know, the one about the guy goes into the washroom with a baby to change it on the airplane and stuffed the diaper down the toilet,
God.
and they had to turn the plane around because, like, basically it backed up the toilet. What an
Well,
idiot.
first of all,
I think that was somebody on here told me
they
that.
tell you that you can't do that.
Tracy, what's a musk stick?
Actually, something interesting I found. Okay, I was looking at Australian menus this week, right? And we've been to Australia twice, and we've never come across this, but I saw something called bugs.
Oh,
Moreton Bay bugs.
is our
We're
champagne
done.
gone? What, it's done?
Yeah, Moreton Bay bugs on Australia. I'm going bugs. Ooh, bugs on a
bugs.
menu, right? So
Sounds like China.
I had to look them up. They're actually a type of lobster. They're they call them slipper lobsters or bay lobsters. I
Chris
guess.
can tell us.
And yeah, pull me up.
Well, you've got
Yes,
champagne.
okay, go ahead.
Oh, jizz, you're mixing.
Anyway, so I wonder what they're like compared to regular lobsters.
I don't know. Chris, do you know about those? You must. Yeah, Chris says, Morton?
Moreton
Bay bugs
lobster.
related to crabs. Crabs, lobsters, sweet and juicy. Oh, okay. But they look gross in comparison to a
Well,
lobster.
does a lobster look gross?
Well, no, but I mean, when you were looking at that YouTube video and showed that,
Yeah,
because they're flat and they're
Yeah,
kind
I
of...
know they look weird from what we're used to, but they're still similar.
Still a
to
crustacean,
lobster,
I
yeah.
guess. And was it? Chris says, I think our cost of living is similar, although that might change due to the recent floods and droughts, as a lot of our farming has been affected. Yeah,
Well, we found depending on what we got in the grocery store, found your meats to be cheaper than what we're used to.
yeah.
But your produce and vegetables tend to be a little bit more expensive, and specialty items sometimes a lot more expensive.
But, and, okay, Chris, you can tell us this. When you go out for dinner in Australia, is there anything besides pizza and seafood
And schnitzel.
and schnitzel that you can get? I mean, the pizza's excellent. I will say this, it's very strange, but in Australia, we had a lot of pizza in Australia. Not necessarily extremely by choice, it's just that every place we went to seemed to have
Oh, there
a
are a
lot
lot
of
of
pizza.
Chinese too.
Oh yeah, Chinese. Well, the Indonesian effect, I suppose. But the pizzas were excellent. But after a while, I mean, I love pizza, but
Well, we're also kind of picky because we don't eat a lot of seafood, right?
Yes, that's the other
Lobster,
problem.
maybe shrimp. Well, of course, in your case, it's prawns.
yeah.
But shrimp and lobster are okay, but we don't do much else for seafood.
Well,
Fish
Chris-
are kind of done.
Chris says she lives in the salad bowl, and yeah, we have heaps of food. Depends on where you go. There's a lot of variety now. Okay, so we've never been to your side of Australia until this trip coming up, because you live about an hour and a half from Brisbane, right? And that's where we're starting this time. So
So we'll see. We
see.
try and be a little bit more adventuresome. With
yeah,
food.
maybe we should be. Maybe we'll try some bugs. I guess. I'm just iffy about seafood. First of all, I don't like fish, and I don't like
He
anything
doesn't
that
like
tastes
anything
fishy.
that tastes fishy.
I like lobster. I don't mind shrimp, but I'm very iffy about ordering shrimp when I'm out because if it shouldn't taste fishy if it's fresh. I know
Well,
that.
he
but if
doesn't
it does,
like, and I have to admit, I don't like it either. I don't like the peel and eat.
No, I don't like the peel and eat stuff. That was a craze back about 20 years ago.
I like
here.
it all done for me.
Yeah, I'm lazy. I don't want to be pulling their little legs off and cracking the shell
I
around.
mean, I
that.
can handle it a little bit with lobster.
I mean, with
but
lobster, you can kind of do it, even though I do actually prefer that if it's already
if
been-
it's presented in its shell where it's open,
already
then
cracked
you can
and
just sort of like pull it out.
pull it out and that kind of stuff. And so we're picky about that. Okay, we'll see. Well, it's not like we starved in Australia. We didn't. I mean,
No, actually, it was okay. Food was fine.
It's fine.
It's just that
I didn't find the variety that we're used to here.
Yeah,
I guess. But then again, right where we live, everything's Roadhouse. So chicken wings, hamburgers, and spaghetti. I mean, or Italian. So I
Plus,
suppose.
we were reluctant to go to the really high end, and then you get stuck in the touristy areas. And
Yeah,
you
and
don't
then
know whether you're in a touristy area or not. And
Yeah, sometimes, and then you don't want to take a chance by going off the beaten track and trying something where the natives might go to eat, unless you know that like a native has recommended it that you trust, kind of a thing. Maybe Chris, you can send us a list of some places, and if I don't
well,
know.
no, I mean, I've tried looking at restaurants before we go away, and I pick all these ones about where we're going to stay and all this other stuff. Then we never end up eating anything.
We have the worst time, no matter where we go in the world, with food. We always pick the wrong place for some reason. I don't know why that is, but we do every time. I mean, people go on about Parisian food. When you're in Paris, the cuisine. We have yet to have a decent meal in Paris. Okay? London. Well, actually, London's not so
has
bad.
always been okay.
Yeah, London's been okay.
We had some bad meals in London,
Yeah.
but we've had mostly good luck in London. Actually, that's probably why we like London.
Yeah, because the food is.
I mean, we were doing pretty good in Australia as well. So, and
yeah, we never had anything really disgusting in Australia that I remember.
no,
Everything was fine. It was just I just found, I don't know, maybe where we were traveling, I just found the variety was not there. It was pizza, burger, seafood. So I don't know. Let me know where you're staying, and I will make you a map of the best places to eat. I worked in Brisbane for 4 years and did the long commute. Where are we staying in Brisbane?
we're staying in the Meriton on Herschel Street.
So there you go. That's where we're at. Kind of a thing. Yeah, so anyways, well, it doesn't matter. I'm still looking forward to Australia because I love Australia. And I tell this to people all the time. I love my own country. I love Canada. There's no other place in the world like Canada. Although lately, in our area, with the guy we've got for Premier, it makes you second think it. But I always tell people, if I was 30 years younger, and if we didn't have any kind of family ties here, I would seriously consider, I would have applied for a teaching job in Australia, one of those exchange things, and gone there and lived there.
When we travel, we've traveled quite a bit. Whenever I'm in a foreign country, I always feel like I'm in a foreign country. I feel that when I'm in Australia too. But I'm very much more relaxed in Australia than we are in any other country.
Yeah.
Even in the United States. So
we're not comfortable in the United States.
No, I've never been comfortable in the United States. And a lot of that has to do with your gun laws.
Yes.
I get uptight when we're there.
And the racial tension, too.
Yeah.
I mean, although that's in our country, we've
too.
got that now, too. Yeah, actually, with Toronto, we got a lot of problems with guns now, too. So, so much for that.
We have that as well. But, so I feel very relaxed in Australia, I guess.
Yeah. Laura says, best Chinese food you ever had was in London. And Julie says, me too, Laura. Oh, best Indian food is in London, too. Because we love Indian food. So, and we always had good luck with that in London.
Yeah. We went to some, there's chain places in London, and there's also independent places. And we even went to a higher end one in London, too. That was really good.
Yeah, Tracy says she loves Indian as well. Chris says the barrier reef is in danger due to global warming. The water temperatures
Yeah, I know.
increasing, killing the coral. Oh.
Yes, I know that. And also they limit tourism on the barrier reef too because it's causing a problem too. So.
Well, we won't be snorkeling it because
We're gonna
this
do.
head
We
doesn't
have
go
a
underwater.
tour book to do it, and
We're doing a submersible thing.
yeah, well, we don't. Neither one of us really like snorkeling, so.
We've never snorkeled. I like air. I've grown accustomed to breathing, and that's what I want to keep
And
doing.
I'm not really sure how much we'll see, so.
Chris says, I loved London. My daughter's currently teaching there. I mean, London is one of my favorite places as well in the world to go to. I guess, though, because part of it is there's no language barrier, and it just...
It feels somewhat.
It feels foreign, but it's not, kind of thing. But that is kind of the way I feel about Australia, too.
Yeah, it's foreign, but it's not.
Yeah. It's like...
You're a British colony, and
That makes us sound like really bad travelers. Like
No,
we
I
want
know
everything to be
that.
the same as home.
no, I know, but we've been to a lot of all kinds of really exotic places, and sometimes you just sort of just want to be someplace that you don't have to deal with the language or something like that.
Ooh, Chris says you will have to wear a Lycra bodysuit if you swim on your tour. The hell with swimming. I'll just wear Lycra. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't really swim I can, but I don't because one, it messes up the coif, and two, I like air, and shut up, and three, no one's seeing me in a bathing suit. Sorry. And Lycra is a little tight. No, I'd need something a little bit more classic fit.
Well, anyway, so
Don't you laugh. You look in the mirror.
Yeah,
Jeez. Precy says, I wish I was 21 and I'd moved to Japan. Yeah, I'd still kind of like to go to Japan, but we haven't done that yet. Maybe.
No, we've been to China.
Yeah, we've been, but it's not Japan, is it?
No, actually, I've always wanted to go to Japan. So actually, Japan was sort of on the list, but then we got a good deal on the flight. We were going to go back to Australia anyway, so I said, well, let's do Australia. So
I mean, this might be our last trip to Australia.
I think so.
Because we've pretty much done, after this trip, with the
All of
exception of
Australia.
like being roughing it in the outback, which I don't even think the natives want to do that. We've pretty much seen it all. So, or enough of it to
Seen
know.
as much as you can as a tourist.
Yeah.
And I bet you a lot of people that live in Australia haven't seen that much. So
No, probably not. It's like us in
I mean,
Canada.
it's like us in Canada.
Well, we've seen a lot of Canada.
We've seen a lot of Canada, but there's lots of pockets even in Ontario where we haven't been.
And that's probably not a bad thing.
No, I know. It's all the same anyway. so.
Like, okay, it's where brothers marry sisters and some of those things, but that's for another show. What?
I mean, we've been on trips where people have said, oh, well, they go to Manitoba and they go to, what's that place in northern Manitoba? I can't remember.
The
They go
place
to-
in northern
They
Manitoba.
go to
There's a
northern
lot of
Manitoba
places.
to see the polar bears and all that other stuff, right?
The Arctic?
No. There's a place in northern Manitoba.
Moose Jaw?
That's where they go.
Medicine
Well,
Hat?
we've never been there.
Wow.
And I'm sort of looking at them and going, well, why would you want to do that?
I don't know where you're talking about. In
Oh, I
Manitoba
can't
North.
remember. There's a place.
Fort
in there.
McMurray?
No,
No.
something. I can't remember.
Someplace.
It's a famous place where they all go visit. I don't remember where it is.
They'll go visit
I'd have
what?
to look at it. To see polar bears.
That's the Arctic.
No, I know, but apparently they're in northern Manitoba too, so.
Well, it's got a piece of the Arctic.
Well, anyway,
Whatever.
so, and I'd said, well, why would you do that?
Laura says she's only been to Quebec and Canada. I love Quebec City. We haven't been there in a long time. I like Montreal too. We haven't been there in a while.
You haven't been in there,
We need to go.
yeah, and then maybe summer.
Yeah.
And then-
Bonjour.
Come and tell you. Anyway, so.
Comment allez-vous?
We've traveled all across Canada. We've driven all the way across Canada, both ways.
Yeah. And that's a bit of a drag. Chris says, I've lived in almost every state in Australia and seen so much here. We have so much to see for a small country. That's true. You do. But I love the kangaroos. They're so fluffy.
Well, actually, in your temperate, your climate is very good. So,
Yeah, you're like, yeah, your climate is like, wow. Okay, it's
I mean,
warm.
nobody wants to come to Canada at this time of year.
Oh, God, no.
Unless you want to ski. But not in Ontario.
No.
If you want to ski, you have to go out BC.
Yeah, you have to go up to the West Coast for that. Anyways, okay. So I think that's our time today, people. So thanks for joining us and everything. And remember, next week, we are on at 5 instead of 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because I'm teaching in our German class. And we'll see what this week brings. And well, we'll see y'all in my vlogs on tomorrow as well. Maybe a little later tomorrow when it gets up because I have a sewing class at 10. But if I get up early enough, I'll have it done. So, okay. We'll see you all next week. So, have a good one. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, Walter.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Alexa.
Say goodbye, Alexa.
She's ignoring us now.
Say goodnight, Alexa.
Oh, no, it's because we have to say, Alexa, say goodbye.